Kia ora team. Today we're talking about adding fractions. So first things first, what does it mean to add fractions? Well, if we go back to our classic pizza examples, if I have a fraction which is a number over another number, so in this case let's call it 1 over 4. Now here we know the 4 represents that one of these pizzas is being split into 4 different sizes, all of equal length, okay? All of equal size, I should say. And how many am I going to shade in? Well, that is indicated by the top number. So, great. So this diagram here now represents 1 out of 4. Now suppose I come along here and I want one that is 2 out of 4. Once again, there's a 4 here, so that means I'm going to cut my pizza into 4 equal sizes. There we go. But how many am I going to shade in? Well, this time it's going to be 2. So 1 and 2. Okay. Now suppose the question that I'm asking myself is 1 over 4 plus 2 over 4. So this is actually a reasonably simple question, and the reason is because both of these fractions are over the number 4. Now when we deal with fractions, we call the top number the numerator, and the bottom number is referred to as the denominator. So here we have what we call a common denominator, meaning that there's a 4 on the bottom here and a 4 on the bottom here, or generally speaking, that both of those have the same number on the bottom. As long as you have a common denominator, or as long as the same number is on the bottom of both fractions, well, all we need to do is add up the pieces on the top. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So it makes sense that this is 1 plus 2 is 3, and then the 4 stays the same, okay? So all this is just telling us is how many pieces of pizza do you have that are divided into that many pieces, all right? So I can confirm this by going 1 piece of pizza, 2 piece of pizza, 3 piece of pizza. Makes sense, okay? Now, suppose we had a situation that was a little bit different. Suppose we had a situation where I was asking about the fraction 2 over 3 plus 1 over 4. Now, get rid of these guys here. Okay. So, in the situation where I'm looking at fraction 2 over 3, what that represents is dividing this pizza into 3 pieces, okay? Something like that. And how many am I going to shade in? Well, 2. Good. Now, this is being divided into 4 pieces yet again. And how many am I shading in this time? Well, 1, of course. Great. Now, the problem I have here is, unlike the last example, where I had a common denominator running across the bottom, my denominators now in this case are a 3 and a 4, which we all know aren't the same numbers, okay? So I need to figure out a way that I can add these in such a way that's meaningful and gives me some form of answer that gets around this problem here. So what do I need to do? I need to find a common denominator. So what I'm going to do now is look at what we call the picnic table technique, all right? Or the upside down picnic table technique, I should say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this image here, which is an upside down picnic table, okay? Each one of these lines is going to represent multiplication between the 2 numbers that the corners touch. So in this case, this line represents multiplication between the 3 and the 4. This represents multiplication between the 2 and the 4. And this represents multiplication between the 3 and the 1. So let's try this. This bottom line here, as I said, is 3 multiplied by 4. Now this is going to go directly on the bottom. Okay? This line here, 2 multiplied by 4, we're going to put that guy on the top. and we're going to put that in brackets. 3 multiplied by 1, once again, goes on the top. Good. Now, what do I do here? Well, I see that there's a plus sign right here, and that's what the question's asking me, is add this fraction 1 to fraction 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a plus sign right in the middle of these brackets. And now, it's just a case of me doing the multiplication and then simplifying. So here, 3 over 4 is of course going to give me 12. 2 times 4 gives me 8. 3 times 1 gives me 3. So what I get is 8 plus 3 over 12, which gives me 11 over 12. So what I've done now is I've managed to turn a situation where I was given one fraction with one form of denominator, or one pizza split into a certain number of slices, and add that to another pizza split into another number of slices here, okay? Such that at the end, I get something that we know is meaningful and correct. So just to summarize, when we're looking to add fractions, what we need to ask ourselves is, are the bottom two numbers, or the denominators, going to be the same? If they are, then you can just simply add the two top numbers and you're ready to go. If they're not, however, you need to find a common denominator. And we can always do that by referring back to the use of the picnic table technique. Thank you.